check to see if the live streaming works. Yes, we are live. All right. Yes, we are live. Okay. I think we're ready to go. Yesterday I couldn't give the class because we had a kirtan program for someone's departed relative. So that's why yesterday. Okay, take the guitar. Ooh, out of focus. There we go. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Daya Gora More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Samsara Patita Pavana Ketu Tabavatara Osamo Patita Prabhu Napaiveha Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokan Akoro Ami Barodu Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Goswami Tava Kripa Molepai Caitanya Aha Sadhu Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Yuga Shijiva Prabhu Lokanath Daya Kuru Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narotamodas Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Gora More Toma Binat Kedayalu Jagat Samsara Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Bhakta Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Haribo 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paracharya O Suteta Sitashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Chalana, the Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Friends, say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Maturadam Ki Jai, Jagadata Sami Ki Jai, Yamudamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai, Sambhaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is to the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Teja Tarani. So, let me read the translation to this very nice song written by Narottama Das Thakur. My dear Lord, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your lordship within these three worlds? Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls, but I assure you, you will not find a more fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, I may also become happy. My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be kind to me. If you are kind to me, naturally, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. I pray for the mercy of Swarup Damodara, the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Bhatta Raghunath Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, and Lokanath Prabhu. I, Narottama Das, pray to the merciful Srinivasacharya, and I always desire the company of Ramachandra. Ramachandra, of course, is the disciple of Srinivasacharya and a great friend of Narottama Das Thakur. So now we'll go on to the Caitanya Caritamrta. So we are reading from the 18th chapter of the Caitanya Caritamrta, the end of the 18th chapter. The 18th chapter deals with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jumping into the ocean. Just to reiterate what we've talked about before, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking along the shore of the ocean in Jagannath Puri, and he saw Krishna and the gopis having their pastimes in the water. And he just ran so fast nobody could follow him, and he jumped into the water and was washed upstream a little bit, or downstream, actually downstream, because there's a very rapid undercurrent in the ocean there, at several miles an hour undercurrent. It was very hard to swim against it. So it washed him in the direction of the Karnak temple, the sun god temple. And so the devotees were looking for him. They looked all night and they couldn't find him, and they thought he had disappeared from this world. And the next day they went out and then they found a fisherman who was chanting Hare Krishna. And the fisherman thought he had been haunted by a ghost which he had caught in his net, and this ghost looked quite unusual. It was a person who had elongated arms and limbs, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes exhibited when he was manifesting his symptoms of ecstasy. And so he was looking for some exorcist, and Rupa Damodar Goswami said, I'm an exorcist, I can cure you. And he slapped this man, and he said, tell us where Lord Chaitanya is. And the man said, I've seen Lord Chaitanya before, but he didn't look like this. And then Swarup Damodar Goswami explained that that's what happens when he was in ecstasy. And so they went and they found him, and they chanted the holy names, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arms and limbs regained their normal shape at that particular point. So that's where we are in this chapter. We're probably going to finish this chapter, and I think there's only 2 more chapters left in the Caitanya Caritamrta after this. So let's go on. So Om Gana Timidandasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So we're continuing from text 98. And Lord Chaitanya continues to explain what he had seen in the ocean, which he had thought was the Jamuna River. Mitrera mitra sahavasi chakravake lutiyasi krishnera raje aiche yavahara aparichita satrura mitra rake utpala ebada chitra ebada viroda alankara. The blue lotuses are friends of the sun god, and though they all live together, the blue lotuses plunder the Chakravakas. The red lotuses, however, blossom at night, and are therefore strangers or enemies to the Chakravakas. Yet in Krishna's pastimes, the red lotuses, which are the hands of the gopis, protect their Chakravaka breast. This is a metaphor of contradiction. So, as I mentioned last time we were reading this, it's very intimate. So please just hear, don't try to project your mundane conceptions upon what is taking place here. Because the blue lotus flowers blossom with the rising of the sun is the friend of the blue lotus. The Chakravaka birds also appear when the sun rises, and therefore the Chakravakas and blue lotuses meet. Although the blue lotus is a friend of the sun in Krishna's pastimes, it nevertheless plunders their mutual friend, the Chakravaka. Normally Chakravakas move about, whereas lotuses stand still, but herein Krishna's hands, which are compared to blue lotuses, attack the breasts of the gopis, which are compared to Chakravakas. This is called a reverse analogy. At night the red lotus blossoms, whereas in sunlight it closes. Therefore the red lotus is an enemy of the sun and is unknown to the sun's friends, the Chakravaka. The gopis' breasts, however, are compared to Chakravakas and their hands to red lotuses, protecting them. This is a wonderful instance of reverse analogy. So it's, very, very poetic, very, very romantic, but of course we have the perverted reflection of that in this world, which is, I wouldn't say poetic, which is actually the cause of the entanglement of the living entity in this world, where one is attracted to the sexual enjoyment. Pumsa striya mituni bhavametam tayor hridya grantyaho ato grahakshetra satapta hamameti. So ati shayokti virodabasa Dvi alankara prakasha Kari Krishna prakata dekaila Yaha kari ashvarana Anandita moramana Netrakarna yugma judaila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, in his pastimes Krishna displayed the 2 ornaments of hyperbole and reverse analogy. Hyperbole means to exaggerate something, reverse analogy. Tasting them brought gladness to my mind and fully satisfied my ears, and heart. My ears and eyes, sorry. Aiche vijitra krida kare, tire aila shri hare, sangilana sabha kanta kanta, ganda taila mardana, amalaki ud vartana, sevakare tire saki gana. After performing such wonderful pastimes, Lord Sri Krishna went up on the shore of the Yamuna River, taking with him all his beloved gopis. Then the gopis on the riverbank rendered service by massaging Krishna and the other gopis with scented oil and smearing paste of amalaki fruit on their bodies. This is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was observing when he was walking by the ocean, and that's why he jumped into the ocean, thinking it was the Yamuna River. Punarapi kailasnan shushka vastra paridana ratna mandire kaila agamana rinda krita sambara ganda pushpa halankara vanya vesha karila vrachana. Then they all bathed again, and after putting on dry clothing, they went to a small jeweled house where the Gopi Vrinda arranged to dress them in forest clothing by decorating them with fragrant flowers, green leaves, and all kinds of other ornaments. Vrindavane tarulata adbhuta taharakata Varamasa dade pula pala Vrindavane devi gana kunjadasi yatajana palapadi aniya sakala. In Vrindavan, the trees and creepers are wonderful because throughout the entire year they produce all kinds of fruits and flowers. The gopis and maidservants in the bowers of Vrindavan picked these fruits and flowers and brought them before Radha and Krishna. Uttama samskara kari bada bada tali bari ratna mandire pindara upara vakshanera kramakari dariyache sari sari age asana vasibara chare. The gopis peeled all the fruits and placed them together on large plates on a platform in the jeweled cottage. They arranged the fruit in orderly rows for eating, and in front of it they made a place to sit. Ega narikela natajati, ega amra nanavati, kalakoli vividha prakara, panasa karajura kamala, naranga jama santara, draksha badama meyoya yata ara. Among the fruits were many varieties of coconuts and mangoes, bananas, berries, jackfruits, dates, tangerines, oranges, blackberries, santaras, grapes, almonds, and all kinds of dried fruit. So they're preparing this for Krishna, obviously. Karamuja shirakatala shura pani palan rinala dupapilu darim bariyata Om Ragdeshe Karakyati Vrindavane Sabha Prapti Sahasrajati Lekayaya Kata. They were cantaloupes, shirikas, palm fruits, kesharas, water fruits, lotus fruits, bale, pilus, pomegranates, and many others. Some of them are variously known in different places, but in Vrindavan, all of them are always available in so many thousands of varieties that no one can fully describe them, because Vrinda Devi arranges the different forests so they have different seasons. So everything's available all year round in Vrindavan. Ganga Jala Mrita Keli Piyusha Granti Karpura Keli Sarapuri Amriti Padmachine Kanda Shiri Sara Riksha Kari Kari Nana Vaksha Radha Yaha Krishna Lagi Ani. At home, Srimati Radharani had made various types of sweetmeats from milk and sugar, such as Ganga Jala. Ganga Jala means the water from the Ganges. Amrita Keli, Piyusha Granti, Karpura Keli, Sara Puri, Amriti, Padmachini, and Kanda Shira Sara Vriksha. She had brought them all for Krishna. How much devotion the gopis have. I mean, we can't even conceive of it. Bhakshara Paripati Deki Krishna Haila Mahasukhi Vasikaila Panyabhojana Sangelana Sakigana Radhakaila Bhojana Dunhe Kaila Mantirai Shayana. When Krishna saw the very nice arrangement of food, he happily sat down and had a forest picnic. Then after Srimati Radharani and her gopi friends partook of the remnants, Radha and Krishna lay down together in the jeweled house. Keha Kari Vijana Keha Pare Sambhahana Keha Karaya Tambula Bhakshana Radha Krishna Nidragela Saki Gana Shayana Kaila Deki Amara Suki Haila Madha. Some of the gopis fanned Radha and Krishna, others massaged their feet, and some fed them betel leaves to chew. When Radha and Krishna fell asleep, all the gopis also lay down. When I saw this, my mind was very happy. It's, of course, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu describing this. Hena Kali Moridare Mahakola Hala Kari Tumi Saba Ihan Lana Haila Kanha Yamuna Brindavana Kanha Krishna Gopi Gana Se Sukha Bhanga Karaila. Suddenly all of you created a great tumult and picked me up and brought me back here. Now where is the river Yamuna? Where is Brindavana? Where are Krishna and the gopis? You have broken my happy dream. So in other words, while Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was floating in the ocean, this is actually what he was perceiving. Eteka kahite praboda kevala baya haila surupa goshani re deki tanhare puchila. Speaking in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully returned to external consciousness. Seeing Swarup Damodar Goswami, the Lord questioned him. Ihan kene tumara hamare lana haila Swarupa Goshani tabe kahite Lagila. Why have you brought me here? He asked. Then Swarup Damodar answered him. Yamuna Brahme Tumi Samudre Patila Samudre Ra Tarangyasi Edura Haila. You mistook the sea for the Yamuna River, he said, and you jumped into it. You've been carried this far by the waves of the sea. E Jaliya Jale Kare Toma Utaila Tomara Parashe Preme Mata Haila. This fisherman caught you in his net and rescued you from the water. Because of your touch, he is now mad with ecstatic love for Krishna. Wow. Wish it would happen with me. Sabarat Ratri Sabivedai Tomara Anveshya Jaliyara Muke Shuni Painu Asya. Throughout the night, we all walked about in search of you. After hearing from this fisherman, we came here and found you. Tumi murcha chale vrindavane deka krida, tomara murcha deki sabe mane pai pida. While apparently unconscious, you witnessed the pastimes of Vrindavan, but when we saw you unconscious, we suffered great agony in our minds. Krishna nama lahite tomara, arya Baya haila tateye pralapa kaila tahaye shunila. When we chanted the holy name of Krishna, however, you came to semi-consciousness, and we have all been hearing you speak like a madman. Prabhu kahi swapne deki kailana vrindavane deki Krishna rasa karena gopi gana sane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in my dream I went to Vrindavan where I saw Lord Krishna perform the rasa dance with all the gopis. Jalakrila kari kaila vanya bhojane dekiyami pralapa kailun Henalaya Mane. After sporting in the water, Krishna enjoyed a picnic. I can understand that after seeing this, I must certainly have talked like a madman. Tabe Sudapa Goshani Tanre Snanakarana Prabhuri Lana Gara Hela Anandita Hana. Thereafter, Swarup Damodar Goswami had Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathe in the sea and then very happily brought him back home. And they were very happy because they had thought that they had lost Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that was the end of his pastimes. Eta kahilun prabhura samudra patana ihas ye shune paya Caitanya Caritamrta. Sounds like the end of the chapter. Thus I have described the incident of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's falling into the ocean. Anyone who listens to this pastime will certainly attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are guaranteed. There is an ironclad guarantee. Doesn't mean we should just sit around and do nothing. You know, we should do something. We should serve the mission of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Because basically we should think, what did I do to deserve this great fortune, this great mercy of hearing these most intimate pastimes? I mean, these are the most intimate pastimes that demigods and other great personalities are not allowed to enter into. But by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, somehow or other, we're getting this. Oh my God. Shri Rupa, so this is the last verse, which usually is the same verse. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Yara Asha Caitanya Caritamrta Antya Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Caitanya Caritamrta, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports, the Shri Caitanya Caritamrta Antya lila, 18th chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's falling into the sea. Wow. So I think we just have 2 more chapters left in the Caitanya Caritamrta, and it's taken us quite a few days to go through the Caitanya Caritamrta. Okay, chapter 19. The beginning of chapter 19. Okay. The inconceivable behavior of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the following summary of chapter 19 is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Prabha Bhasha. Every year, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Jagadananda Pandit to visit the Lord's mother in Navadvip with gifts of cloth and prasadam. After one such visit, Jagadananda Pandit returned to Puri with a sonnet that Advaita Acharya had written. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read it, his ecstasy was so great that all the devotees feared that the Lord would very soon pass away. The Lord's condition was so serious that at night he would bruise and bloody his face by rubbing it against the walls. To stop this, Swarup Damodar asked Shankara Pandit to stay at night in the same room with the Lord. This chapter further describes how Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the Jagannath Vallabha garden during the full moon night of Vaishakha, April-May, and experienced various transcendental ecstasies. Overwhelmed with ecstatic love at suddenly seeing Lord Sri Krishna beneath an ashok tree, he exhibited various symptoms of spiritual madness. So we get into the end of the Caitanya Caritamrta. Vande tam Krishna Chaitanyam Matriya Bhakta Shiromanim Palapya Mukha Sangharshi Madhu Dhyane Lasayaha. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most exalted of all devotees of mothers, spoke like a madman and rubbed his face against the walls, overwhelmed by emotions of ecstatic love. He would sometimes enter the Jagannath Vallabha garden to perform his pastimes. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this is sort of like an introductory verse, as well as the next verse. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mate Mahaprabhu Krishna Prema Veshe Unmada Pralapakari Ratri Divase. In the ecstasy of love of Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus behaved like a madman, talking insanely all day and night. Prabhura Atyanta Priya Pandita Jagananda Yahara Charitre Prabhu Payena Ananda. Jagananda Pandit was a very dear devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord derived great pleasure from his activities. Remember, he's Satyabhama. Prativatsara Prabhu Tanre Batana Natiyate Vicheda Dukita Jani Jananani Ashwasite. The Lord knew that his mother was greatly afflicted by separation from him, and so he would send Jagannatha Pandit to Navadvip every year to console her. Nadia Chala Matare Kahiya Namaskara Amara Name Pada Padma Tariha Tanhara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Jagannatha Pandit, "Go to Nadia and offer my obeisances to my mother. Touch her lotus feet in my name." Kahiha tanhari tumi karaha smarana nitya asiyami tumara vandiye charana. Tell her for me, please remember that I come here every day and offer my respects to your lotus feet. Ye dine tumaricha karaite bojana se dine asiya vasha kariye vakshana. Any day you desire to feed me, I certainly come and accept what you offer. Tomara sevachari amikari lun sanyasa molahana ami kailun dharma nasha. I've given up service to you and I've accepted the vow of sannyas. I have thus become mad and have destroyed the principles of religion. Which was to serve his mother. E aparada to me. Na, whoops. Lahiha mara, tomara adina ami putra se tomara. Mother, please do not take this as an offense, for I, your son, am completely dependent upon you. Ilachilayachi hami, tomara gyate, yavat jiva, yavat tavat ami, nariva chadite. I am staying here at Nilachal at Jagannath Puri according to your order. As long as I live, I shall not leave this place. Gopalilaya Pailasye Prasadavasane Matari Patanataha Purirabachane. Following the order of Paramananda Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent his mother to the prasad clothing Lord Jagannath left after his pastimes as a cowherd boy. So this is interesting. Actually, they dress Lord Jagannath different days, different festivals, and different veshas. Different veshas means sometimes they'll dress him as a cowherd boy, sometimes they have him in the Shringa vesha, and all sorts of different ways that they portray the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Jagannath. This is a tradition. Now, this tradition should not be imitated anywhere else, but not except for Jagannath Puri. In other words, we shouldn't take Radha and Krishna deities and dress them according to, let's say, the Nrsingadev's appearance day and dress Krishna up as Lord Nrsingadev. It is not proper. It's disturbing his mood. Or don't dress Lord Chaitanya up as Lord Nrsingadev. Jagannatha Uttamas Prasada Aniyayatane Matari Pritakpatana Arabhakta Gane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very carefully brought first-class prasadam from Lord Jagannath and sent it in separate packages to his mother and the devotees at Nadia. Nadia, of course, means Mayapur. Matri Bhakta Ganera Prabhu Hana Shiromani Sanyasa Kariya Sada Sevana Janadi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the topmost gem of all devotees of mothers. He rendered service to his mother even after he accepted the vow of sannyas. So you take sannyas, but you're still supposed to serve your mother. Jagadananda Nadia Giya Matari Milila Prabhora Yata Nivedana Sakala Kahila. Jagananda Pandit thus went to Nadia, and when he met Sachi Mata, he conveyed to her all the Lord's salutations. Acharyadi Bhaktagane Milila prasada diya, matakani ya la ila, masekarahiya. He then met all the other devotees headed by Advaita Acharya and gave them the prasadam of Jagannath. After staying for 1 month, he took permission from Mother Shachi to leave. Acharya Tanigiya Ogna Magila Acharya Goshani Prabhure Sandesha Kahila. When he went to Advaita Acharya and also asked his permission to return, Advaita Acharya gave him a message to deliver to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, this message was that it's time to leave this world. Time to end your pastimes. This is very similar to something that happened in the Ramayana when it was time for Lord Ramachandra to leave this world. He was given, a messenger came. Sometimes people say that messenger was Yamaraj, but whatever. He came to talk to Lord Chaitanya, to talk to Lord Ramachandra, and he wanted to have a private conversation with Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Ramachandra told Lakshmana, no one should disturb us. If they disturb us, I will banish them immediately. And so what happened is that Lord Ramachandra was talking to this gentleman, and in the meantime Durvasa Muni came, and Durvasa Muni was very, 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 very angry. I have to see Lord Ramachandra right away, and Lakshman disturbed them, and Lord Ramachandra had to banish Lakshman. And then Lord Ramachandra later on, with all of his associates, entered into the Sarayu River and went back to the eternal Ayodhya. So you see this, it's a similar type of occurrence that happens at the end of the Lord's pastimes. Tadaja prahiri acharya gehena tare tore prabhu matra buchena kea ushite na pare. Advaita Acharya had written a sonnet in equivocal language. That means hard to understand, and it could have many meanings, with an import that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand, but others could not. Prabhure kahiya amara koti namaskara e nivedana tanra charane amara. In his sonnet, Advaita Acharya first offered his obeisances hundreds and thousands of times unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He then submitted the following statement at his lotus feet. Pretty heavy stuff. Bola ke kahiya loka haila bola, bola ke kahiya hate navikaya chola. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace rice is no longer in demand. Bola ke kahina kahe nahika ola, bola ke kahiya iha kahiyache bola. Further tell him that those now mad in ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Also tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one who has also become a madman in ecstatic love, that is Advaita Acharya, has spoken these words. Eta shuni jagadananda hasite la gila nilachale asitabe prabhuri kahila. Upon hearing Advaita Acharya's statement, Jagadananda Pandit began to laugh, and when he returned to Jagannath Puri, Nilachala, he informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of everything. Tadaha Shuni Mahaprabhu Ishat Hasila Tanraye Gnavale Monadarila. After hearing the equivocal sonnet by Advaita Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quietly smiled. This is his order, he said, then he fell silent. In other words, time to leave this mortal world. Janiyal Swarupa Goswami Prabhure Puchila Etara Jara Artha Pushite Narila. Although Swarup Damodar Goswami knew the secret, he inquired from the Lord, what is the meaning of this sonnet? I could not understand it. Prabhu Kahena Acharya Haya Pujaka Prabhala Agama Shastrara Vidi Vidane Kushala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Advaitacharya is a great worshipper of the Lord and is very expert in the regulative principles enjoined in the Vedic literatures. Upasana lagi devera karena vahana, puja lagi katakala karena nirodhana. Advaitacharya invites the Lord to come and be worshipped, and to perform the worship he keeps the deity for some time. Of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is referring to himself because Advaitacharya was praying for the Lord's advent, offering tulsi and Ganges water to the shalagram. And so, in one sense, you could say Advaitacharya's prayer to the Lord was one of the causes of the Lord's advent. So Advaitacharya invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear. Puja nirvahana haile pache karena visarjana tadajara nahi jani arta kiba tanramana. After the worship is completed, he sends the deity somewhere else. I do not know the meaning of this sonnet, nor do I know what is in Advaita Prabhu's mind. Mahayogeshvara charya tarajate samartha amiha pujite nare tarajara artha. Advaitacharya is a great mystic. No one can understand him. He is expert in writing sonnets that even I myself cannot understand. Shuniya vismitakaila sababhakta gana sarupa goshani kichu ha'ila vimhana. Hearing this, all the devotees were astonished, especially Swarup Damodar, who became somewhat morose because he knew the meaning of it. Saydinahite prabhura aradasha ha'ila krishnara vicheda dasha dviguna badila. From that day on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's emotional state changed markedly. His feelings of separation from Krishna doubled in intensity. Unvara palapa cheshta kare ratridane radhabhava veshe virahabare anukshane. As his feelings of separation and the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani increased at every moment, the Lord's activities both day and night were now wild, insane performances. Chambite spuri krishnara mathura gamana udkorna dasha haila unmada lakshana. Suddenly there awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the scene of Lord Krishna's departure to Mathura, and he began exhibiting the symptoms of ecstatic madness known as udkorna. Ramanandera galadari karena palapana sarupe puchena mani Nija Saki Gana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a madman, holding Ramananda Roy by the neck, and he questioned Swarup Damodar, thinking him to be his gopi friend. So he's in the mood of Radharani, obviously. Purvayena Vishakare Radhika Puchila Se Shlokapadi Palapa Kadite Lagira. Just as Srimati Radharani inquired from her personal friend Vishaka, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, reciting that very verse, began speaking like a madman. Here's the verse. Kvananda kula chandra makva siki chandra kalankriti kva mandra murali rava kva gnu surendra nila juti kva rasa rasa tandave Vasaki jiva rasok shadir Nidir mama suritama Vavatahantaha digvidim. My dear friend, where is Krishna, who is like the moon rising from the ocean of Maharaj Nanda's dynasty? Where is Krishna, his head decorated with a peacock feather? Where is he? Where is Krishna, whose flute produces such a deep sound? Or where is Krishna, whose bodily luster is like a luster of the blue Indranila jewel? Where is Krishna, who is so expert in rasa dancing? Or where is he, who can save my life? Kindly tell me where to find Krishna, the treasure of my life and best of my friends. Feeling separation from him, I hereby condemn Providence, the shaper of my destiny. This verse is found in the Lalita Madhava 3, 25 of Srila Rupa Goswami. So, Advaita Madhava deals primarily with Krishna's pastimes outside of Vrindavan, and it's many, many pastimes that are recited in the Lalita Madhava, such as Krishna sneaking around to deal with such a Bama, but I'm not going to tell those pastimes right now. But basically, this is Radharani lamenting the separation from Krishna. Brajendra Kula Dugga Sindhu Krishna Tai Purna Hindu Janmi Kaila Jagat Uru Ujshora Kanchamrata Ke Yeva Pa Nirantara Pa Ga Praja Janera Nayana Chakora. The family of Maharaj Nanda is just like an ocean of milk, whereas Lord Krishna has arisen like the full moon to illuminate the entire universe. The eyes of the residents of Braja are like chakora birds that continuously drink the nectar of his bodily luster and thus live peacefully. Saki he kota Krishna karaha darashana shaneke yaharamuka nadike dekile patabuka shigra dekha narahi jivana. My dear friend, where is Krishna? Kindly let me see him. My heart breaks at not seeing his face, even for a moment. Kindly show him to me immediately, otherwise I cannot live. So these are the symptoms of Vipralamba. Okay. Hey Brajero Ramani, Kamarka Tapta Kumudini, Nija Caritamrta Antya Dana, Prabhulita Kariye, Kahan Moras Chandrase, Dekha Sakiraka Mura Prana. The women of Vrindavan are just like lilies growing hot in the sun of lusty desires, because that desire, lusty means in this case to please Krishna. But moonlight Krishna makes them all jubilant by bestowing upon them the nectar of his hands. My dear friend, where is my moon now? Save my life by showing him to me. And we'll read one more verse. Kahanse Chudara Tama Siki Pinchara Udana Navamege Yena Indra Danu Vitambara Tadi Duty Mukta Mala Vaka Panti Navambudajini Shama Tanu. My dear friend, where's that beautiful helmet with the peacock feather upon it, like a rainbow upon a new cloud? Where are those yellow garments shining like lightning? And where is that pearl necklace resembling a flock of herons flying in the sky? The blackish body of Krishna triumphs over the new blackish rain cloud. So let's sprint to text 39 today in the 19th chapter of the Anshaliya. Okay, let's see if anyone has any questions. I mean, very esoteric stuff here. I don't know if we're going to have too many questions about these things. I just listen and you get purified. Even if you don't understand what's going on, even if it's just so elevated that it's beyond your realization, you'll get purified. Because this is Prabhupada's words. By hearing Prabhupada's words, even if Prabhupada was speaking in a different language, the words of a pure devotee contain the saffron dust particles of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. So, all right, so I allowed you to unmute yourselves. So does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, you can either type in the text window or raise your hand or unmute yourself. So this section, I don't expect too many questions, although I may be wrong. Does anyone have any questions? No. Nobody has any questions. Yeah, because it's so esoteric. Oh, Adidev, you have a question.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Gurudev Dandavat Pranam.
So,
yeah, but by the mercy of Prabhupada and Mahaprabhu, we have this these transcendental pastimes revealed to Kali Yuga Jivas. So was it not given to the people in Satya Yuga or who are very pure and pious?
No. This is a special dispensation of Kali Yuga. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Vadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratasena Namaha. Now, obviously, if someone was actually Krishna conscious in Satya Yuga, then Krishna will make some arrangement if they are established in the mood of being gopis or in the mood of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. I mean, for example, in the Treta Yuga, you had the sages in the Dandakaranya forest who actually were attracted to Lord Ramchandra in a conjugal mood. It's interesting. So Krishna made the arrangements that they would become gopis in Dwapara Yuga. So you see, Krishna makes the arrangement. Krishna makes the arrangement. If that happens to be one's ras, eternal ras, rati actually. Ras means taste. Rati means like relationship. Then Krishna will make the arrangement for one. But this is something that's available, given to everybody in Kali Yuga. And not that everybody is qualified, but somehow or other, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates opened up the storehouse of love of God and made this process very, very easy. I mean, you're talking about the different yugas like Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. You know, people lived much longer in those ages, but they had to meditate a lot longer. Meditate or perform opulent sacrifices or do such like opulent deity worship that we couldn't imagine. So we have a special dispensation.
Yeah.
A special dispensation. So we are very fortunate. Yes,
So can
yes,
say
it
that
is
we,
true that if someone was very highly elevated, Krishna would make the arrangement, like I mentioned in the case of the sages in Dandakaranya forest.
so it's very selective in other yugas, but in Kali Yuga it is mercy, right? So
Yes,
it's
special
so
mercy.
okay. Thank you, Guru.
So here, someone had a misunderstanding what I said. The question someone asked was, did I understand correctly that you said on special festivals like Nrsimha Chaturdashi we can dress Lord Krishna as Lord Nrsimhadev? No, I never said that. You could only, not you, but the residents in Jagannath Puri can put on different veshas on Lord Jagannath. That is a tradition there. We do not have that right to put different veshas on Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Lord Nrsimhadev, or any of the deities. We worship them in a particular mood. We don't change their mood according to the festival. In other words, you don't dress Krishna as Lord Nrsimhadev. That would be really dangerous. Don't change the mood of the deities for any reason at all. And that's only done in Jagannath Puri, where these devotees are in Jagannath Puri, live in Jagannath Puri. The demigods see you as having 4 arms. I mean, if the demigods look at us, they will not see us having 4 arms. They will see us as like we see the cockroaches. So, okay, yeah, I just want to make that, I made that very clear, but maybe I didn't state it correctly, or maybe you misunderstood what I was saying. Okay, who else has a question? That would make the boga run more convenient, Gopal said, having 4 arms. Yes, it would. Especially if you have this signs of Vaikuntha signs, the symbols. And you could ride on a Garuda to do the boga run. Okay, anybody else have any questions? I know it's esoteric, and I know there's not going to be a lot of questions. But it's good to hear. And It's just amazing. I mean, our philosophy is amazing. If you compare any other religion in the world, I mean, I was just doing a little research about uh, another religion. I don't want to get into criticizing another religion and how it's split into different factions, uh, different philosophical factions and different leadership factions, and it was all due to fratricidal or internecine wars between different families or people who wanted to be uh, actually they wanted to be in charge. You know, who was the caliphate basically? I mean, who was in charge? Who was, and they would fight, and based upon that fighting, whoever won the fight would actually be the family or the group that was in charge. And religions split in different directions because of this fighting. Even in the Christian church, you have that there was the Arian controversy, Arius and Athanasius, and they were fighting over whether Jesus was a person like us, who was the Son of God, or he was God himself. And the people who won the physical fight got to establish the, quote, philosophy. So most religions are rather tribal, whereas Krishna consciousness should be based upon not ritualistic following or who do I want, who's my guru, like that. Of course, who's my guru is important. It must be in disciplic succession, but should be based upon a philosophical understanding rather than, fighting and killing. You'll see this in many religions today, that there has been a lot of violence between different branches of different religions, especially in the Middle East. We find that. Okay, on that happy note, we will end. Thank you very much for your kind attention. We'll see everybody hopefully tomorrow evening, same time,